So Tat, thank you for the lecture. And now this series is called Mediator Experiences. So here we'll have mediators talking about their memorable experiences. In this case, what we're talking about, your experience as a JAMS, is a Weinstein JAMS International Fellow. So this is that. We had that with Adi. The series started yesterday with Adi on it's the same thing as a fellow. And then we'll have interesting experiences that people might have had, whatever it could be, in whatever area. So take that up so that people also understand there are very interesting things that mediators look at and everything. So do that. So thank you very much. And if you want to just tell us, introduce us to the JAMS thing. If you want to tell us about yourself also, I forgot to do that in the lecture series, but I think people know you. But still, a little bit about yourself and, of course, the experience and how it started, how it all went by. Then I'll get Elizabeth in. Elizabeth is there. She's from Russia, Brno, a city called Brno. And I feel that her thought process and everything has to match opportunity, and suddenly they could do very interesting things. We talk about her, what she wants to do. So we will do that. So Tat, please.
Well, quickly, my name is Tat. I'm from Singapore. I have been in legal practice for over 30 years. I've been a mediator for almost 20 years now. And what I really like doing nowadays is to interact with fellow mediators across the world. And so this is an extremely great platform to meet with Vikram and all the people that he has brought on stream to speak about and share about their mediation experiences and knowledge. In 2017, I had the privilege to be involved and to be selected as a Weinstein JAMS fellow. And to me, that was an extremely humbling experience. What I think the fellowship does for all of us who are involved is it helps you to connect the dots in many ways, right? That no matter how long or how short you have been pursuing your mediation dream, your mediation journey, coming in as a Weinstein JAMS fellow helps you to relook at what you've been doing up to that stage, and maybe to chart a new course of journey moving into the future. Also connecting the dots in terms of getting to know people. There's so rich, you know, the group of fellows who have been involved in the program for so long that when you are a fellow, you almost feel like they are part of your extended family around the world. That if you have some need for assistance or help, you really feel like they can be your first port of call. You can reach out to them and ask them for help, any kind of help, questions, and they will be more than willing to help you because they treat you as part of family as well. And beyond the fellows, as you find that within JAMS, and now the Weinstein International Foundation, the group of people who run the foundation, the board members, the executive director, they are all such wonderful people, all ready to help the fellows in their mediation journey and to help us be the best that we can in the work that we do. So that's really what I want to say about the JAMS Weinstein Fellowship. I mean, there's not enough time for me to talk about all the great things about the fellowship, but it really is one of the most worthwhile things that I've done in my lifetime. So I'm going to stop there and then hand this to you, Vikram.
So just a bit about the fact of putting it together. You have an application to make. Like you said, you must have heard about it somewhere and whatever. So you went about putting an application together. So what goes into that? How do you decide what you went through on that?
I think, if I recall, I was looking for an opportunity to expand my horizons, and I by chance came across the fellowship details. And then the application, I think, requires you to fill in your aspirational goals, what you want to do if you are selected as a fellow. I mean, those kinds of questions help to crystallize your thoughts on what you want to be doing into the future. So I found the application just as helpful as giving clarity to my own thoughts on what my journey should be like as a mediator and in mediation practice. But I will also say this, I think, for those of you listening in who are thinking about applying, it is less about you trying to accomplish your goals, your aspirational goals as a commercial mediator. Yeah, I mean, the fellowship, I think, is not, it shouldn't be your goal to get famous through the fellowship and then get more clients and then make lots of money. I think if that's your goal, then maybe I hope you don't apply. I think the people who become fellows, who are selected fellows, have a very critical common trait among all of us, is that we have a real innate desire. We believe that our personality and our entire life journey has come to a point where mediation and collaborative dispute resolution mode is what we believe in. And we want to dedicate our life to help bring that to people around the world in our little sphere of influence, and to help people achieve outcomes in their disputes through mediation and collaborative forms of processes. And it is not necessarily a glamorous work. For a lot of my fellows, it is hard ground, challenging as the years go by. So sometimes the success stories we see and hear of the mediators who, and maybe also of the fellows who are involved in that field, who have been champions in their countries and achieve commercial success. But I can tell you there are so many of the fellows who, to me, are really the heroes or the heroine, because they continue to plow and do the work they do day in, day out, appreciated by the people they work with, but never quite achieving that sense of recognition that I think they thoroughly deserve. So for people who are looking to apply for the fellowship, I think ask yourself, what are you looking for in the fellowship? If your idea is to apply to a institution that gives you a chance to connect the dots, to have a wider outlook on your horizon, and to be of better service to humanity and to people out there who need your help because you are in a privileged position, then, by all means apply. And don't be discouraged if you don't get in at the first call, because it is nowadays very competitive. But I leave that note with you as a matter of encouragement, that even if you don't become a fellow, continue to do the good that you do. It is not only the fellows that are in a position to do good. All of us, I think, will find our place under the sun, as I mentioned, in order to be able to do good to the people who need us, and who we are able to bring some degree of help in this world. Right. So thanks for that chance to just showcase the fellowship, Vikram.
Well, actually, that's why I was talking about Liliana, the person from Argentina, that the thought is good. And actually looking at the fact that dealing with the government, is there a human right violation that people have? The whole dignity of the individual, that citizen, how are we dealing with it? And I was telling her, look, I think that the whole concept of the colonization and the mindset of governments, based on that, the way they are structured, the way laws are structured, like last time at the symposium, we were talking about the civil procedure code, and you're saying now Singapore is looking at revamping it, but that's not happening in most countries. I mean, at least you're looking at it. Here, we are not looking at it. I don't know, okay, in the back, maybe the law commission is looking at something. I'm not getting into that. But the fact is, a civil procedure code of 1908, what mindset are you going with? So what is the fact? What are you putting across to citizens? Are you a about what, a ruler? Are you ruling over them, or you have to create a conversation? So I really found that interesting. That is I think that's what you're really saying, that there is something more to it, and you're not trying to just, like you said, the whole commercial thing and all that. Not just that, more than that. So that I think is important. But little bit about actually what you did, what was your, what projects or whatever you had thought, and then how you tied up with
Right. I
various
think, yeah,
places.
that's
Then
useful, right? Because I think if you want to know what the fellows actually do, some of us will spend the time, pre-COVID, of course, it was easier to travel. So we spent some time in the States visiting some of these centers, institutions that teach mediation. We had lots of opportunities to exchange views with many of the very accomplished mediators who practice in the US. We had a chance to shadow them as they carry out their mediation work. And it's not really just one-way traffic, let it be, some of you think it's like going there to reach out to your gurus. And no, it's also a two-way traffic, because as you interact and shadow them, these mediators many of them are extremely humble, but also ask you your thoughts on what they're doing, how it's done differently in your country. So that's that interaction. And then finally, the broader interaction with all your other fellows who come together for that 2 weeks together in San Francisco, to be able to be there and to exchange our thoughts and to make lifelong friends, really, from that standpoint. It's something really very precious for all of us who had the privilege of becoming fellows.
And up to, I just tell Elizabeth, Elizabeth is going to be Elizabeth. I just saw your WhatsApp message. You had written Elizabeth on your name itself. But you just be prepared of what you want to do. I'm just talking to Tat, but please be prepared with what you would want to do. What are the thoughts that you have? Just think of that, and then we'll get to that. So, but in terms of the costs and everything is taken care of. We tell them, because there were some apprehensions that Elizabeth had into actually traveling and all those things.
Yeah, they do. If you're selected, they do provide you with a stipend, a sum, which is enough for you to go there and spend time in the US. I don't know whether in the COVID period, the system or those the sums that we used to receive is the same, but it's something that, of course, I think you will find out if you're applying.
Yeah. So it's now, right now they're saying $20,000, up to $20,000.
Is that right? Okay,
yeah.
it's still $20,000.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it depends on where you come from as well.
No, they've made a general one. They put a general one out in the whatever they
right.
I think that what they put out. So the fact is that, okay, I mean, this is taken care of. Just to tell them that it's not getting worried that you have to spend anything, because that, I think, was the first apprehension that Elizabeth had.
Right.
So
yes.
at least everything is taken care of. So anything about your relationships that you made, all those things, something that on that, so that people get inspired, that you've made lifelong. By Judge Shimak from Croatia, he said, look, this was like the best experience of my life. Of course, his recording will happen later, but he said, I've made lifelong relationships.
I think all of us would probably come to that point, and all of us would probably have said all of that as well, that it is really a highlight, if not the highlight, for a lot of our professional lives. And if you had if you go to the website, Weinstein International Fellows, you will see that there's so many of us around the world now that it really makes for a very nice extended family that you can look to every time you want to reach out and ask someone a question.
If you're okay, should I just share that? I mean, just for a moment, just to put it out that there is a page like that they have on the fellowship. And so this is what it looks like. And of course, all the details are there. After all that $20,000 and everything, main thing what the Tat is saying is they have to look at the list at the bottom of the fellows, the countries that they come from, and what a mix it has. That's what you're saying, that this is the last cohort. And then before that,
I met the cohort for this year just recently, 2 days ago. Can't remember now. And they came online to listen to a presentation on the Singapore Convention. So that interaction between not just among your cohort, but with people from other cohort is also there. The opportunities to interact is always is always there within the fellowship.
So I'll tell you that basically Migle, I had called her for the In Conversation with the Beautiful Mind. So we had that conversation and she spoke about the fellowship. I really did not know much about that. So she spoke about it. And then I saw this thing, a post on this. So I said, this is interesting. Let's get people out there, get the information to there. So she was there. And of course, I mean, there's so many people that were part of this, all the shows that I had. So I said, all of you were there. Let's reach out to you. So that's how it happened. So that's a lot of, it's quite a mix. So that is how. Oh, I didn't put out the one that you were in. So see who your colleagues were in that. Let's see who your friends were in that, and let's find out from you. This was 17, is it?
2007.
Yeah. This was your.
Yeah.
So you're in touch with all of them.
Yeah.
So interesting. I think Ivana now is looking at IMI.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, Chitra, I connected Liliana and Chitra yesterday. They spoke to ask her. What Liliana told me was Chitra was saying that she also did not know when she was applying what she really wanted to do. But then I will ask her to also record a session. So interesting. So that's how it was. So now what we should do is now get Elizabeth in. And Elizabeth, please tell us, based on you've heard Adi's session yesterday, you've heard Tat up till now. Tell us your thoughts of what you really want to do, and then Tat will kind of guide you maybe on how you should go about it. Yes, you're now yours.
Vikram, thank you so much. First, I want to say that I didn't heard about this fellowship before, and only when you gave me information, I looked at these sites. And of course, I have a lot of questions, what to choose and what to do. Because in my interests, the first is family mediation. Also, I'm interested to study maybe in USA business mediation, how it works in this part of world. But the third part is, which is interesting for me, is how to make our organization, our association of mediators in outside territory work better, and how to help my colleagues also to be more successful and to get, that my aim is to make mediation well known in our region, and this is the thing which I'm thinking about. But I don't know which kind of projects I must send to become a fellow.
Well, I think all that you said sounds like wonderful roadmaps that you are putting out. And it's really a matter of finding what is possible and where are the areas you need to maybe do a bit more research. And some of this really is what you do. If you are selected as a fellow, you go there and you start to reach out to both people in academia who are teaching, as well as people in practice. And some of the people in practice have started their own mediation practices before. So you get a sense of what are the challenges and how did they overcome those challenges. Some of these people also have started mediation institutions. But I think the recurring theme you will find is that a lot of the fellows want to be catalysts of change in, where you live, where you practice. And so I'm hearing that looks like, what you are trying to do in your organization and with the people that you work with. So I think it's a good platform. Spend some time thinking about, your aspirational vision, your goals, for yourself, for your organization, for your peers, and then put it in writing and then develop a roadmap and how you think the fellowship can help propel you towards more readily achieving your goals within and after the fellowship. I think that will probably give you a bit more clarity if you're applying for the fellowship.
But Elizabeth, why don't you tell him about, because in the symposium you had spoken about a lot of things. Of course, your one part was the promotion of mediation and all that part. So tell him a little bit about your thoughts there. He'll definitely be able to tell you. I mean, he's a really nice person. He will really, whatever way he can, he'll help you, guide you. So please also stay in touch with him. He's a busy man. He might not reply immediately, but at some point he'll reply. So stay in touch with him also. So please tell him your larger vision that you have, because he's talking about that, because that is more important.
Vikram, about what vision do you
About
you
you,
want me to tell?
about the marketing of mediators and all those things that you had spoken about in your symposium. Talk about that.
So no need to put you on the spot.
No, she has all that. I'm telling you, she's just, look, she's of course a little flustered maybe because of that. But please, Elizabeth, please talk about it. Whatever you have, all your larger vision that you have, thoughts that you have, talk about that.
Vikram, I don't know what I must tell you now, but what I was speaking in the symposium, but I see that in Russia, in different, if we will speak about mediation in Russia, so of course now we have not a lot of successful stories when we see that it widespread and people know about it well. But I see a lot of mediators which start by themselves, sharing information. They creating different things like internet portal about mediation in Instagram, and they do it as only on their enthusiasm, and it starts working because a lot of people see it and share it with each other. And also I see that in different regions of Russia, where one or several mediators became work with courts, with different organizations, it works better, and they really get here rich practice, and courts tell to people to use mediation. But in our region, we are only start such kind of work, and that's why it's now it's kind of difficult work for us.
Yeah, and I mean, thank you for sharing. I mean, the challenges sometimes looks very formidable, right? When you are starting in a place where it looks like there are mountains everywhere, and you are trying to see how best you can bring mediation to the forefront of dispute resolution and help people around you. But sometimes I suppose if you put it in bite size, it's almost like what can you do next immediately? That little journey that you take towards reaching the next that next immediate goal is just one step towards the longer journey, right? Eventually, I think you probably know where you want to go. Listening to you, sometimes it's usually good to not just know, but to be able to put it down in paper. Because ultimately, I think you want to be able to present a plan in a way that's easily understood. If you are selected and the board actually wants to hear out your plan, then it's good to be able to put it all together and present it so that it's readily understood by the people listening.
Because like that, let me tell you, because in her symposium presentation, she was talking about a very interesting part. This is one of the disadvantages that she spoke about. This, that, I mean, the fact about free mediation. Suppose she's talking about that. I mean, whether that has worked in the US, what has happened in the court system. I mean, all of these points are important points. Maybe she also doesn't understand, but these are things that she can do research on. There is so much that in terms of whether the court system and the mediation in that has actually affected the profession, and has it really helped mediation or gone against it? How are they valuing it or not? So she had put out all these interesting things. So I just feel that she maybe also doesn't realize that her insights are important, and she can take it further. So she had a proper presentation, and she doesn't want to give it. I want to talk about it. I saw a lot of aspects in that which she could have covered. So Elizabeth, anything that else you want to ask? I'm just trying to see where else when we.
Vikram, do you know, maybe I will ask about, you see that I always tell you that I'm sorry for my English, and that's why I'm not sure that it will be enough to be a fellow, because I don't know how they examine your knowledge of English, for example.
Yeah, no, I don't think your English should worry you at all, your level of English. I think it's, if I'm looking at what you've written,
see this, these are goals for that association they've made. So to see what has happened on the other end, whether if in the US, what has happened, how did mediators get together earlier and how did they take it forward? Because reinventing the wheel, whether that's required or have they gone wrong, has to be looked separately.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all these things that they're doing, because look, how I'm looking at it is that you have a small town. Now look, we're about, I think 600,000 population is what she's talking about, that whole region. So if that is a reflection of what is outside, but it's easier to implement because you're a smaller region. So all these thoughts that she's got based on that, I think she can put it in a different manner, maybe to how it works out on the larger vision, plus the experiences, and also not just take that experience on face value, but look at it from the, say, maybe Russian perspective. All those I think could be interesting, Elizabeth.
Yeah. I mean, not to be faced by the challenges of applying. I think you just be true to yourself. Ask yourself, what would a fellowship do to help spur you on in your journey, in your goals, and use whatever Vikram has just shared, put it together and submit it. I mean, I don't think that you want to overthink this as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because Elizabeth, the important thing is that this will at least in some way concretize your thoughts.
Yeah.
And that will help you in doing other things. Fellowship is just one way of us discussing it. Today, you're here sitting with Tat talking about it. Tat, I'm telling you, is a very busy person. We've got him here. You're talking to him. This opportunity not too many people get, and they get it if they have to pay his fees for the mediation. So you've got this opportunity. We're just talking about it. See how you can take it forward. What your thoughts are. You have these people to reach out to. They've got a lot of experience. So that's the whole idea behind this. It's not just to say that you have to get the fellowship, and that's just this reason for discussing your thoughts. So, anything else that you want to ask, Tat? Anything else you have in your mind? Because he's kind of clarified on the fellowship part, so that I don't think anything is required there. Anything that you need to talk to him right now, or we reach out later. We can have maybe some other session on counseling. I think counseling, that we need to do a counseling session also.
I'm not a counselor, but
no, not counseling. You don't have to do that counseling, but in terms of the profession, just to give them a guidance, a direction, all that. So maybe we can do those sessions separately. So Elizabeth, anything that you want to ask him? Anything else? Anything on your mind? Just say it. I mean, there's no thing. You don't have to hesitate. Please.
Oh, Vikram, today I don't know what to say. No
worries. No problem.
Yeah.
I think I need the time to make some idea which I want to write about.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks. So Tat, anything final to work? Because I know you're busy, so I'm sure being a Saturday in Singapore, for me, you know me, I can go on. Time is not a factor for me. Has never been.
Well, I just want to say it's lovely to meet you again, Vikram, and of course, what a lovely opportunity to meet like today, Elizabeth. It's always nice to have this connection. And like Vikram was saying, if you find that it helps to just bounce some ideas off, at least now you have another person that you can reach out to. Yeah.
She's just got into LinkedIn today. I've been telling her, but now she's got in today. So you will connect with that also. And please just have these conversations. They're really, first of all, people with a mediator mindset are wonderful people. So that by itself, they will try and help, they would do whatever. So just have those conversations.
That's right.
So perfect. That's so Anything else that you take us through? Anything else that is coming back to your mind on the fellowship and or anything on the experiences? How did people interact with you, treat you when you were there? Maybe something on that and your experience with JAMS itself as an institution, if you want to share that.
If you're asking me, I think, well, maybe I'll leave that for another occasion. But it is, like I said, one of the highlights in my professional life, and I highly recommend to people who are looking to a fellowship to help spur them on and to help them crystallize and maybe put something that is bigger than themselves together. Right. So on that note,
exactly, perfect.
Yeah,
That's a good note to say. A good note to end on. Thank you very much, and thank you.